I don't know. Alcohol is just weird. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to another installment of JJG in the RGV. It's me, your favorite JJG, Jacob James Garcia. And in this installment of JJG in the RGV, we have a dear, close, personal friend of mine. He is a stand-up comedian. He is a father. He is a husband. He's a wonderful dude who I always take pleasure in working with. It's the one and only, from La Joya, Texas, the RGV's very own, Rudy Barba.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for having me on this, man. I'm finally on a JJG project.
Yeah, dude, you were always in mind. Like, you've always been, to me, you're synonymous with this region. You know what I'm saying? When I think of the Valley and I think of Valley comics, I'm not saying you're limited to that, but I think of Rudy Barba. You know, so you're supposed to be on this show. This is only the second one I've done from the RGV.
Thank you, man. Heck yeah, I appreciate it. It means I'm doing something right.
Yeah, you're definitely doing something
going on
right.
5 years doing stand-up comedy.
That's so weird. Like, in my mind, because I guess we're friends, I feel like, oh yeah, Rudy's been doing this forever. You know, like Rudy is a seasoned veteran comic. And then you say 5 years, I'm like, Rudy is still very new to this. And and it's cliche. Every time any entertainer goes on the show, or any show, they get asked the same questions, and I'm no different. I'm going to have to ask you. I'm sorry.
Bring it on, brother.
But if you were on death row, what would be your final meal? I thought I was going to ask you about what got you into comedy, right? You're like,
steak and steak from the Wine Cow. There's a little Argentinian steakhouse around here. I had a New York steak from there the other day, and don't worry, it's at old TV. It's shitty. It turned out bad.
I saw that right there. I just finished watching American Horror Stories Coven.
You're so fear, dude. We gotta look back at that little image when it turned out.
I was just all Brujas.
No, it went to like sleep mode. Oh my god, that steak was so nice, beautiful. Just it's amazing.
What were your sides?
What did I get?
The steak was that good that you were just like, it don't even matter?
It didn't really matter. No, we had a little bit of everything because I saw this place on another little podcast, food review called Fork It from the Rio Grande Valley. And he went there and he had a Argentinian chorizo empanada. And like, oh my god, I saw it, the way he crunched into it, just like, it sold it to me. And thankfully, we had enough, like, we were the baby. Our baby is amazing. She's just one, and she lets us eat when we go out in public.
That's a treat.
Yeah,
that's a treat.
That's right now. She might really change when she turns, like, a little bit later, a little 1 or 2. But she was just chilling in the stroller, and we're, like, eating in public, and it's like, yeah, it was so much fun. And we were able to eat it. And the chorizo empanada was amazing. And then I was like, you know what? Let me have a steak. Let me treat myself. I've been good so far. I dropped 40 pounds. So, yeah.
I'm at 40 as well.
Heck yeah, man.
I'm at 40 as well.
Club. Where are you at?
Boom! 40-pound club! Boom! Boom! That's right. The JJG and the RB and the RVG are getting... RVG?
RVG?
RGV?
RVG.
We're Valley Thin, yo. We're Valley Thin. So, you're 40 as well. I noticed you looked really good.
Thank you.
But I didn't notice that it was 40 because I just, like I said, I mean...
Yeah, I look at some photos. I didn't think I was that big.
I didn't think I was that big either.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was that big either. Like, I was still getting positive feedback from ladies, and nobody told me. And so I was all like, I'm the sexiest man alive. And I wasn't. You know, I was actually 4 pounds away from Chris Farley weight.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I was 4 pounds away from Chris Farley weight. I looked it up and I said, because I was just curious, after I already lost some weight, I got on my phone and I was like, how much did Chris Farley weigh when he died? And it was like, Chris Farley, an American comedian, blah, 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 296 pounds. I'm like,
I don't think that's right.
And I ended up, when your wife, Cecil, was there when I was having my blood pressure issues.
That was a crazy night.
That was a crazy night. Wow. But I was 292 at the time. I didn't know. I didn't know.
You get comfortable eating what you do, man. Like especially growing up in a Mexican. I don't know if you experienced this, but growing up in like a Mexican family, they feed you the same portions they feed themselves.
Mm.
You know, you're just a tiny little kid, and boom, this giant plate is set before you, right? With like 2 scoops of beans, giant rice, like maybe, I don't know, 2-3 pieces of chicken, and you're just nom, 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 and then your stomach just gets used to eating that kind of quantity of food. And it's because it's supposed to be like this big, you know, and just kind of a couple little bit meals, and then it goes into the intestine, right? But we just keep shoving more stuff in there, and it just keeps growing and stretching. So you're able to eat more. I used to take down a pizza by myself, bro. A pizza, 8 slices. You know what I mean? Like, and
now that's disgusting.
Yeah,
that's disgusting to me.
Yeah,
it is now.
Yeah. I get to 2 pizzas now, dude. I start sweating, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna like probably go take a nap, you know. So I basically train my stomach to get back to like smaller and smaller. Cause think about getting like 8 slices of pizza to something that's supposed to be this big.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's holy. You can't. You start. It's horrible. So I was able to kind of train myself to get back down and cut my meals in half and just do water.
Mm-hmm.
Cut out sugar completely. Just cut out sugar completely. I don't think it's possible because there's so much stuff. The one thing I do have sugar in is my coffee in the morning. I have like a little creamer.
You're allowed to feel pleasure, and here's the thing: it's so funny that we're talking about this because this has been a big passion of mine as of lately. Because you remember that one year I went vegetarian.
Yes.
Like, so I actually went vegetarian for an entire year in an attempt to remedy the damage I had done. And once I had found the rhythm, I started finding this passion in self-care. And I'm not talking about like, you know, your mental health, although that's a good thing and that's important. I'm talking about, it's funny, I didn't know this until a friend of mine in Milwaukee. She's from Austin, but she lives in Milwaukee. Abby, I love her dearly. I actually was the official at their wedding.
Hey.
And yeah, it was really cool. And I was at her house last year, and I was telling her, I was like, man, you know, I've never been one for a relationship. Like, I've always been a single guy. I realize how difficult it must be and unfair it is to other people, the way I live my life, so I wouldn't make the best mate. And I'm bringing that up for a reason. It's tying back to food. I told her, I was like, you know, maybe I'm okay with being in a relationship right now. I don't know, maybe I'm okay with, you know, maybe settling down. I'm not saying I'm looking for it, but for the first time since I can remember, I think I might be okay settling down. She goes, wait, you need to pump the brakes. She goes, you're feeling that way because for the first time in years, you finally developed a relationship with yourself through food, through eating, through self-care. And because I started, food became a very, instead of gluttonous, it became romantic. So I wasn't like, eat this food. I was all like, look at those vegetables. You know, that's going to help me function. You know, look at that grilled chicken instead of fried chicken.
You see it as fuel instead of food.
I see it as fuel, and I also see it as a symbol. I see it as a symbol of, and I'm not saying I eat all good all the time. I had some tremendous enchiladas just the other day at Monte Carlo Cafe in Donna, Texas.
I saw those. Those look amazing.
They're so good. Monte Carlo, keep taking care of your boy.
Yeah, dude, they talk so much shit about the enchiladas. They're in this border town because like they're not Mexican, they're not, you know, the American. It's just Tex-Mex enchiladas. It's the best thing ever, man. Of course, you have your enmoladas, entomatadas, enchiladas rojas, enchiladas verdes. I just went Spanish on y'all. Yeah, you weren't ready for that. But they give so much slack to this American just cheese. Was it just the cheese enchiladas?
Mm-hmm.
They give so much shit to it, bro. They're beautiful and majestic. Just let us have our yellow cheese wrapped in tortillas.
Yeah.
And a nice little sauce. You know, like it's beautiful.
Here's the thing. I've learned. Look, you know me, and I've been known to be a prick and say some stupid ass shit, and to be like, "Fuck that! I don't like this. You're dumb." But now it's kind of like everything's all good. It's all good. Whatever's down, whatever you're down with, whatever you like, are the enchiladas that we like? Hell yeah! Give me my yellow cheese. Give me my yellow cheese. Well, it's Tex-Mex. It's not Mexican. Well, we didn't say it was Mexican. We said it was Tex-Mex. We said it was Tex-Mex. Yeah. The moment we start saying...
You know what? That's going to be my last meal. Yeah, those enchiladas are going to be my last meal. Rice and beans, let's do this right now. Keep your crackers and your little side salad. I think they put that in you so you can kind of sleep a little bit better that they're feeding this to human beings.
Yeah.
You know, like we tried, we put a little salad on the plate. We gave them a little chance, but nope. I always dig around that little lettuce, man.
Dude, and so yeah, I have really gotten into this food thing. I see that you're doing it as well. Let me suggest something to you. Do you like sweets?
Yeah.
I know you're staying away from them, but do you like chocolate? Dark chocolate's actually good for your blood pressure.
There you go.
And I eat dark chocolate medicinally.
Just straight up chocolate, like the
dark chocolate. It's gotta be dark chocolate.
It could be like dark chocolate and caramel, or no?
Yes, it could be. And you might as well. The last one I had was a dark chocolate with toffee, so it was probably. But if you look at the sugar content, look at the back of the chocolate bar. Dark chocolate, you can usually get it like at Sprouts. Go somewhere like that, and as long as it's above like 70% cacao, and then you see that it'll say it on the corner, and then you look at it, and then it'll say like the amount of sugar it has. Compare it to like a Snickers bar, and a Snickers bar will have, like, I'm making up a number, like let's say like 21 grams of sugar or 28 grams of sugar. This one will have like 4, 6. It's a little bit more bitter.
Yeah,
but I can't even eat milk chocolate anymore. To me, it just tastes like dark milk.
Like dark milk?
Just tastes like dark milk. I don't like milk though. So it's just kind of like,
there you go.
you feed that to the people that like fucking pour
I'll take it, man.
Yeah,
I'll take it, dude. I'm a milk chocolate, white chocolate, any kind of chocolate.
White chocolate's just sugar.
Oh, I love it.
But just so you know, it's sugar.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not going to judge you because I've seen you lose weight. The other day I tried to judge, you posted a picture of yourself on Facebook and I'm like, I'd like to make fun of you, but you're winning. I don't make fun of winners, Rudy. You're out there winning. I'm all like...
going up. I gain a little bit more. I position this camera strategically. But I'm gonna get back down. This COVID, like I did go up a little bit more. We got comfortable ordering in, you know, instead of just making it. But we're switching it back up. We just made. Well, you saw the little bacon ranch. It was chicken bacon.
I almost insisted you all have food. Bacon. I almost insisted you have food waiting for me. Like, because I know we just made this range. I'm like, look, we're gonna go do an episode, me and you, but you need to have food waiting for me because you cook badass, dude. I see your post and I'm just like, I want that. Like every day at your house would be like a cheat day for me. Although it's not even cheat days anymore. It's just food. It's just good. But yeah, I almost was like, cook me food, Rudy.
Yeah. When I cook, I pretend that I'm basically cooking for myself, you know? Like, I'm like, something that I would enjoy and I get to share with you guys, you know? Like, hey, look, I made this crazy concoction where I cut out the top piece of the bread, the inside, and then I put rice and beans in there with, like, a little bit of salsa. No, spicy beans. It was spicy beans and rice, and then I covered that with tortilla chips. I put cheese on top of that, so it can kind of melt and like seal that in as a little pocket of goodness. And then I put pastrami. I know it's just crazy like meat stuff I get from my fridge. And then I put little jalapeno monster, keep the spiciness in there. So like when you would bite the sandwich, it would have a crunch to it. And it was so good. And I don't know if I would ever be like feed this to people, but that would be a nice little dream of mine. Have a little sandwich cart. I love throwing just random stuff together and make it intriguing for an experience. You know, a lot of people just kind of get into mundane of eating. And like eating, like whatever food is served at the best meal you ever had has nothing to do with the meal. It's the experience you have with somebody. So if I'm able to spark a conversation like, oh my God, this is amazing. I know, right? The crunch is beautiful. And you just get a conversation started. Oh my God, dude, remember when we had that one thing? And then that's what I want. I don't want you to enjoy the food. I want you to have a good time when you share a meal.
Dude, that is eating. That is experience. That's what I'm talking about. That is, I'm with you. I'm with you so much. Right now I was just in my head, I'm like, okay, find a way to invest money into Rudy's fucking truck. You know, like, I was just like, I want to be part of the Rudy Barba business when it comes, yes, comedically, for sure, which we've already worked together several times. But as far as food goes, I've seen you cook your food, and I think it's great. And the way you describe it, because that's one of my favorite things about traveling, like, is eating. Like, is being able to taste the way they made, like, the spices, the flavors, the bread. I had a sandwich in Australia 2 months ago that I didn't understand. I didn't understand something on the menu. It was a word that I didn't understand. So I said, I don't know what that is, sir. Because I wanted to get the sandwich and have like fried potatoes, a chipotle mayonnaise, red onions, some sort of greenage in there on like a French roll. And there was something else I didn't recognize, and some sort of cheese. So I asked the guy who owned the place. I'm like, excuse me, Jeff. I was like, I don't know what this means. And he goes, let me take you to the chef. He took me to the chef.
Nice.
And I didn't say a single word. I just stood there quietly. And he goes, hey, what is this? What would you compare this to? And the guy in the back says, well, Americans would refer, he didn't know it was American either. He was like, Americans would refer to this as bologna. And I was just all like, oh, wow, that's cool. I like bologna. He goes, American. And he goes like, you'll like it. And I was like, hell yeah. And I got to try it. And it was it was a very big, sloppy, delicious, almost sinful. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like, ooh, like I should go to confession afterwards and be like, this was too sexual to be a meal.
Yeah, it's an experience.
It is, and that's what I love about
just
that.
Like you fueling up. It's like, there's napkins involved. There's dripping, juices. They're running down your arm. It's a whole thing, dude. It's a little contained ball of chaos. When you get a good little
contained ball of chaos.
Yeah, it's like crunching. There's stuff going on. Your brain's like going off. You're eating. Yeah, that's what a good sandwich does.
And the cool thing is, you can talk about it. You can ask like, Rudy, how's your sandwich? And then you can be like, it's dripping out fucking shit. I had a burger in Denver one time. I don't even know if the show's about comedy anymore. I think we should start our own like traveling food. But it was like, I had a burger in Denver once. I was with my buddy, one of my best friends, Benjamin Hollers. You've met Ben, haven't you? White guy. He used to have hair down here, and then people down here called him Thor. He looks nothing like Thor, but the valley's kind of racist, so they're like, white guy, he's not fat, must be Thor. And
they meant it as a compliment.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And but me and him were eating a burger. We were in Denver, so admittedly, I'm not much for smoking, but I was in that state of mind. And we both had this burger that was so good. It was our artisan burger for the day. So we were just like, we'll have that. We had a burger that was so good that Ben said, I'm trying to remember how he said it. He said, this burger was so good that if I had died and gone to the depths of hell and someone had to quiz me on what this best meal was to get out of hell, I'd say that time I had a burger with Jacob.
There you go.
In Denver specifically. Because that would be like the one thing that he would remember so much, it would pull him out of the depths of hell. Now again, extreme example, but we were both high as fuck. We were high as fuck. That's what I like about wine, actually. I don't know if you noticed in the last year I've gotten
you got a little bit more of a wine aficionado. I'm not much. I just kind of, I never really got into the wine thing. Or beer. I really don't do much alcohol. I'll have like a whiskey and Coke or whiskey and Sprite. Maybe even like a tequila with some grapefruit soda. But maybe like 2 of those. I don't do like, let's go finish a whole wine.
I think I don't know how many times I've seen him at comedy events where I've either gone to support you or we've been performing together where I've been like, Rudy, let me buy you a drink. And you're just like, I'm okay right now. I'm trying to show my appreciation and love. And you're like, no thanks. I'm all like, fuck you then. Like, I just wanted to be nice.
I just don't, because like, I feel bad. Like, I feel bad because they buy me beers and I maybe take like 2-3 sips of them and I don't finish it. And I think like that's even ruder, just like taking a beer and like, you know what, like I'm not even gonna finish this beer.
I think it's good that you don't have that drinking problem. You know, I don't drink before I perform, but afterwards you best believe.
I'll have a couple of drinks. Like I'm not like a anti-alcoholic or whatever. Like I'll have drinks. I just don't drink. Like there's some people like, I got shit face tonight. I'm just like, okay, I'll have like a couple whiskey and Sprites. Yeah, with you.
Yeah, dude. I don't know.
Ice melts a lot of the times in my drinks, and people just kind of get out.
That's why you start drinking wine, bro. Because as the temperature starts to drop, it fully starts to express itself. You don't mind. There's no ice in it. You sit there and you take. That's one of the things I love about it. You take that first smell. It's called nosing it. You nose it, and then you're just like, oh yeah, that's good stuff. Then you just wait a little bit, and you give it that little swirl, and then all of a sudden it literally blooms in front of you. And then you take that second smell, and then you take a sip.
I don't know how to drink wine. Every time I drink
that's what
wine,
I'm telling you.
There you go. Thank you. for the lesson. No, I've tried multiple. I've tried the which one's the white one?
There's
Moscato.
there's a whole lot.
Yeah.
I'm starting to learn, and that's the thing. The reason I bring up the wine is to piggyback off your food. I think it's a conversation starter. I think because you could discuss the sandwiches that we're eating and say, "Whoa, dude, mine has fried potatoes." You're like, "Dude, mine has like a Chipotle chicken inside," and I'm like, "Whoa." The wine is the same thing.
Pastrami has my heart forever.
See, there you go. The wine has different grapes, and I'm not going to make this whole a wine thing, but I just like the fact that it's unlikely you're going to have a simple conversation while drinking wine. Usually it'll be about the wine itself or about good things that are happening. You know, over beer you can be like, "Oh, that fucking bitch left me." Over wine, do you think you're going to have that conversation?
Fuck that bitch.
Yeah.
That's what the...
Or like that.
Like afterwards.
So in a perfect world, so comedy is your passion, but clearly food is too. So those are two things you do. And I'm gonna actually ask the question: where did you even get started? Because you're 5 years into stand-up comedy, and we'll talk about it in a little bit about food and comedy combo. But what even got you? Was there a moment? No, there was. But what made you decide, I'm gonna get on stage, and I'm not just gonna talk about it, I'm gonna be about it? What was that turning point that said, microphone in hand, people listening?
I was downtown McAllen at this bar called the Flying Walrus, and
That's where you started?
Yeah.
Okay.
For years prior to that, I have had an attempt at like an STC. The college had an open mic in the student union, and I was like, let me go try it. I just wrote down like the dirtiest set, you know, like just penis jokes, butt jokes, and just super raw and like not even like I just wrote it down, going to go try it, right? And they have chairs like set up in rows, and the guitar player, poet goes up, and then they call me, and then I go up. I didn't know that in front of the first row of people was another row of children in Indian style sitting down on the floor. So I get up there and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, people?" And I just see like a row of children, like just like 8, 9, 10-year-olds. And I just stared down at the dirtiest set list in the world, just so disgusting. And I was like, I had nothing. And then I said this stupid like dad joke thing, like, because I told them, I was like, these are some really bad like stuff. I'm not gonna say it in front of the kids; they're minors, you know. But I do have one joke, and I said I washed my rubber ducky today, and I left it squeaky clean. You know. And I got off, and I was like, "Oh my god, it was horrible." And then we got immediately.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it, dude. I think that shit's funny. I like cheesy shit. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me, because that to me is like, I'm gonna quit comedy. Rudy just wrote the perfect joke. No, so good, because
immediately after that, we get hit by this hailstorm. And we get trapped inside the college, the university, like the building. And I think I just kind of took it as a sign from God. I was like, "No, do comedy." Like it just went bad, and then I just didn't do anything about it. But I was still like, I met Mario because of a friend, Mario Salazar. We went to like an NFL draft, like a fantasy football week. And Mario was there, and I was like, and I always kind of wanted to be comedians, and I told my buddies about the open mic and making people laugh, and he's like, "Hey, well, this guy's a comic too, like here in the Rio Grande Valley." I'm like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you." And then I remember one time I drove him out to Laredo. He needed a ride to a big ass comedy show they were gonna do with Raymond, a bunch of other comics. They recorded like their sets or something. It was pretty cool. And I was
Laredo's good times.
Yeah, Laredo, Texas. I always love performing out there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And we went out there, and I got to see the behind the scenes of actual comedy. You know, I just knew the guy would get on stage, you know, do his thing, get off, people would laugh, right? He would get off. But you get to see the brotherhood and the people coming in, because there was people from Corpus, there was people from Austin, there was Javi Luna was there.
I love Javi.
Hayden Chain was there. Mario, Raymond, I forgot who else was in there. He passed. He's from Corpus, but he passed away. He was there as well. John Roman was there. Actually, I don't even know if I should be naming them out, but no, it was a badass little comedy show. But yeah, it was so much.
Nothing wrong with giving props for props is due. Man.
But yeah, everybody was there, and I kind of got to see like the behind the scenes of that, and it lured me in even more because it kind of reassured me that I'm not going to be alone in this. There's going to be other peers along with me in the journey, and everybody takes their own route, but it's kind of nice to see like, hey, there's somebody else. I'm not the only crazy guy.
Well, yeah, being where you're from, too, and if y'all don't know, I don't imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't imagine La Joya being the most, the place to nurture your talents when it comes to comedy. You were probably a lone wolf.
Yeah.
So now you're around other people who do what you do, because, I mean, like in Donna, where I'm from, it's not like we're just pumping out stand-up comedians like fucking crazy. It's just me. So I mean, I imagine it's the same way in La Jolla.
Yeah, like I would just, in high school, I just kind of bounced around and I never had like a set group. I would hang out with the emos, I would hang out with the agriculture people, I would hang out with the cholos, I would hang out with normal people, just hang out with everybody. Like I didn't have like a set group, I would just kind of go around like, oh, who's here today? Like, oh, that person, all right, cool. Oh, look, these guys. Like I would basically go with whoever's group would form first. Mm-hmm. I was like, all right, they got 5. I can go join. And I would go freaking hang out with them for a couple weeks, and then I would go inside. There were people that would spend their whole lunch inside, so it's like it would get hot, so I would just go hang out. Hey, what's up, guys? Hang out with them. Freaking Johnson, I turned into a football player like junior year, like super late in the game. I was like, let me try it, fuck it, right? And I got in, and I got into like the jocks as well. I was hanging out with the wrestlers, but I did have like maybe my 3, 4 best friends. And then like those guys were solid for sure. But I was very sociable with everybody, and like, just kind of like talking to people.
When was the first time you left the Valley to do stand up?
I don't recall.
No, that's cool.
It might have. I think it was like Laredo as well. AJ's? Yeah, I think
AJ's is in Laredo's.
AJ's in Laredo. Mm-hmm. I think that was one of my first ones out of town.
Just see, for the record, Laredo's not the Valley.
Yeah, there's still 956.
Yeah. They're a border town, yes, but they're not the Valley. So when I was like, when was the first time you left the Valley? You're like, I went to the other Valley.
I went to the Northern Valley.
I went to Northern Valley.
No. It was Corpus. One of my first gigs.
Also not the Valley. Some people think it's the Valley. No.
Yeah, just kind of going. But the farthest I've gone was New Mexico, in Deming, New Mexico. Perform out there at a steakhouse.
Who'd you go with?
It was Omar Rodriguez, the one that set that up.
Yes.
Juanchi Herrera was on that one. Who else? I think it was Sean Hatfield, Luis lectured. You know Luis Cantu, right? Yes. Yeah. He was there. We basically road tripped that. Like we drove from here in my truck.
I actually, you know why I remember the story? Because I got a phone call from you guys during that time. I'm not going to go into details, but now I remember what you were doing because I got a phone call. There we go. I'll end it at that.
Yeah. It was a crazy trip out there, but it was an amazing experience. Like, because around this area, you get used to performing, doing the same jokes, doing the same thing. Because everybody kind of has the same train of thought, they see the same things every day, they go through the same thing, the same news, same music stations, So when you get to perform with somebody that's in a completely different loop, New Mexico, Deming, it's like a desert, there's mountains, it was beautiful, it was way out there, and they had a little, they had the steakhouse over here, and then they had like a little freaking banquet hall. That was super clean. They're in the middle of the desert, but they were on point with their customer service. Like it was amazing, super clean. The stage was there. Everybody was having a good time. There was a DJ that was on Que Locos Comedy Jam. He's like, oh, he's the DJ of the Que Locos. I was like, what? And he told me that earlier. And then during my set, knowing that I was doing so well, I turn around and then he starts laughing his fucking ass off. I'm like, this guy has seen like the comedy legends, the Latino comedy legends come by, and like he's freaking laughing his ass off. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right, you know. And the crowd's freaking loving it. I had this guy that was like 6'4", this white guy, come on stage, and he like tried to shut the show down because it was his buddy's birthday. And he was like, hey man, it's my buddy's birthday. Why don't you turn this off and get the music going, start dancing and celebrating, woo! Right? And I'm like halfway through my set, and this guy's freaking huge, right? So, and I had the crowd in my hands. This guy just was drunk and walked up. And then I'm looking at all the comics, and they're kind of like trying to move into position. So I'm like, I gotta pass the time to get him on stage, right? And I was like, hey, who's your buddy, man? And he's like, oh, it's that guy over there. And he points at this like Mexican dude. And he's like, how old are you, buddy? And he's like, I'm 40. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, like, and the people laugh. So I'm like, all right, I still have the crowd with me. So I had to like basically de-escalate this and also keep the crowd. So it was a nice little balance. I've never had to do that before, and being presented to that opinion, it was a nice little chess match. To the way I pulled it off, because there was this giant pillar right in front of me, which is a horrible positioning, but there was a giant pillar, and I was like, you know what, bro, let's keep on doing the comedy show. After it's done, then we'll turn up the DJ, we'll get it going, bro, we'll get your buddy dancing around this pole that's right here. It looks like it's strong enough to hold him, you know, and this thing was like a tree trunk, like freaking massive, you know, people laugh again, and then that's when the comics came and they got him down, and they got him off stage, and then like I just looked at the crowd, and I was like, whew. Like, I just kind of, like, let a sigh of relief. I was like, oh,